Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. This is episode 31. My name is Heidi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Plurk as Knitty Girl, and on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter as Knitty Girl 1. How are you guys doing? It's been has it been more than two weeks? I don't know. I think it's been 2 weeks. Anyway, let me see what I have over here. I'm going to go ahead and start right into the knitting. I have so much stuff I want to talk about. I just hope that I don't forget anything this time. I'm still working on my Viajante, or Viajant. I don't know how to say it. I should go back and listen to that place where somebody pronounced it correctly. By Martina Bim. And this is where I am right now. I like the way this yarn is working up in stockinette better than I like the garter portion. I don't know if you can see the difference really. Here's the garter. And here's the stockinette. I kind of like the way it looks in stockinette better. But let's see. Here's the cowl part, and I've joined in the round, and I'm working on the part that goes down my body, and I'm pretty much going to be doing the same 2 repeats for a long time. I have a lot of yarn left. This is in Spunky Eclectic, and it's her Spunky Lace in the Soylent colorway. And that is in my Rain Lover Knits bag that I bought. I love this bag. You can see the inside is so cute. It has little pink skulls on the inside. Okay, so that's one thing. I don't have anything else that I'm currently working on, but after I show you, I do have a finished object. Like, to me, this is like a big time finished object because I love it so much and I'm so happy with it. These are the BFL socks that I've been working on in my Undead Yarn. And I guess I was calling this Experimental Rainbow. I don't really have a name for the colorway yet. Actually, I do. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I change the name. I don't really have a name for it yet. But I'm finished with the socks. And they pretty much match. Unfortunately, I made one longer than the other. I have no idea how I did that. I thought I was matching them up. And it looks like the heels are a little bit different. They're pretty similar. But I love the way that they came out. And I'm probably going to eventually put this in the shop. It's very labor intensive to make it because I actually do a tube and then I dye it. So we'll see. Eventually I'm going to dye this up for the shop. It may be a while before I get to it because I did this over the summer when I had a lot more time. But I really love them. This is my BFL base, and it is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. I really enjoyed knitting with this. It's very sturdy, but it still feels nice and comfortable on your skin. And that's like the, like I said, I guess the unnamed colorway at this point. So, oh, you know what, and I just realized I have some other stuff I need to show y'all that I don't have with me. Well, I guess I'll wait till I get towards the end and run over and grab it real quick, because I am not very tech savvy and I still don't know how to edit or splice 2 videos together. I'll have to ask my husband to help me if I think of it. Okay, so, oh, and I don't have any spinning. The past few weeks have just been very, very busy at work, and my brain has been elsewhere. I'm trying to bring it back, but the funny thing is, because I was so not paying attention to things except trying to deal with stuff, other stuff, I'm almost to 100 sales in my Etsy shop, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even notice it. And somebody said congratulations, and I was like, milestone? What milestone? My shop. And I went and looked, and I'm at 99 sales. So thanks, you guys. That makes me very happy, and it makes my it brings my mood up from the past couple of weeks at work, which is wonderful. In the last couple of weeks, the only things I can really remember that I've done was I went to a knitting group, which was nice. I got to actually catch up with somebody I hadn't seen in a long time, and she came and shared her stuff, and she has some new patterns. Her name is Wendy, and if I can find, I'll have to find her on Ravelry again. I will link to her because she has some patterns for sale, and she's also says that she's selling handspun on Etsy now. So that was nice to meet up with her, and there was another lady there that has been there a couple times. She's very nice too. We also, well, my husband and I, we had our anniversary. We've been married for 17 years. I can't believe it's been that long. I just feel like I've always known him. I guess because we started dating when I was 22, and now I'm almost 45. My birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, but we've been together since then, so it just seems crazy that we've been married that long. And for our anniversary, the big thing we did was we went to the Mediterranean Festival downtown here in Austin, and it was a lot smaller than I thought. I thought it was going to be a big thing, but I guess I'm used to stuff like South by Southwest, and they also have this thing called the Pecan Street Festival, and it takes up a very, like, blocks and blocks of 6th Street. But we've been to that a couple times. We didn't feel like going to that this weekend. We wanted to try something different, so we went to the Mediterranean Festival, and I guess the coolest thing there was that they had Mediterranean music. The food, I was disappointed because I wanted to get a falafel, and we got there an hour after it opened, and they still didn't have the food yet. They were like running behind, so I went and got something else that I was not all that thrilled with. It was okay. My husband had a better meal, though. It was like and I shouldn't even mention it because I don't even remember what it was called, but it was a platter, and it had several different dishes from that country, and it was really good. But I did have some Arabic coffee, and that I really enjoyed. They said they don't put, the ladies behind the desk were very friendly. They were really great salespeople, and they said they were from Jordan. They said that you don't put any cream or sugar in your coffee in Jordan, and so they recommended I drink it black, but I'm not going to drink black coffee. I don't like it. So they just had creamer. They didn't have any sugar, but actually I thought it was really good. I don't think it's something that, like, when I drink coffee in the morning, I usually have 2 cups, and I like nice flavored coffee, and, you know. This was really good, but it had a cardamom in it, and it was so strong that I don't think I could drink more than 1 cup of it. But it was actually pretty good even without the sugar, but I definitely needed the cream. It's kind of a heavy coffee. And we had some little desserts there too, but I don't know the names of them. They did have stuff like baklava, and it was similar. The things that we had was similar to baklava. We were thinking like they'd pour some kind of syrup or something on the top, you know. And it was they were little pastries. So anyway, like I said, the most interesting part of it probably was the music. It was different from you know, the music you normally hear on the radio. So anyway, that's pretty much all I can remember in the whirlwind of the last couple of weeks. I am reading a new book. I'm very excited. I think I tried to talk about the book on tape that I was listening to in my car last time. It's called Encarceron. I gave up on that. There was too many things happening at once in the beginning, and I kept listening to the CD over and over, and I'd like blank out because it was just too much happening at once. I don't know. I feel like at the beginning of a book, you need to like introduce characters, and stuff can happen, but don't throw 5 million characters in there at once. And I don't know. It was just too not conducive to driving and listening. So I did get The Magician King, which I am very excited about, and I'm going to be listening to that in the car. I just started listening to it, and the beginning of it, they're in the world that the fantasy, not fantasy world, but I guess a lot of people have talked. It's like Narnia. They're in a fantasy, a place that's not like reality, basically, and that's where they're living. And so far, I've heard the guy's trying to grab the magic hare who has special powers, and they talked about dryads, and it's so much fun. I'm enjoying it. And then I'm also reading Chosen by PC Cast, and that's a young adult novel. That's kind of bubblegum vampire book for me, because they're like fast reads. It's easy, and I like the characters. They're funny, but it is like, it's really written towards teens. You can tell the way, and the way that they talk to each other. It just makes me think of teenagers. But I am enjoying that. And I'm still listening to North and South, although I'm kind of behind on that. That's being played on Craftlit right now. Heather Ordover has the Craftlit podcast, and she is reading North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell right now. I guess at this point I'm going to go ahead and show I actually do have some enabling. It's been a while since I bought yarn because I bought so much at SSK, and then I started going through my stash and I was like, you really don't need to be buying yarn every single week. But it's October and my birthday's coming up, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to stretch that rule a little bit. So here's the first thing that I bought. And I'm so excited about these new colorways. Lisa of Fiber Nymph Dye Works is dyeing up these monochromatic striping rainbow yarns. They're so cool. Like, I kind of thought of this, but then I was like, oh, I don't know. But I'm so glad she did it. They're beautiful. And I had to get the yellow because this yellow has yellows and oranges in it, and those are my favorite colors. I love yellow and orange. And it's called An Enclave of Yellows. And this is in her bounce base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it's 400 yards. And this will be wonderful. I think what I'm going to do with this is I may make a Quaker yarn stretcher. Dana from the Just One More Row podcast keeps talking about them and like makes me want to knit one. She said it's a good pattern for hand spun. But it's kind of like, I think it's one of those boomerang patterns that, you know, the shawl makes the shape of a boomerang. But it's geared towards using up as much of whatever yarn it is that you're using. So I think this would be beautiful. It'd be like a little bit of sunshine next to my neck. So I might knit that with that. Speaking of that, also, probably a lot of you have heard that Silly Frou of the Sassy Pants Knitter podcast is going through treatment right now. She has hairy cell leukemia, and she has lost her insurance, I believe, at this point because she's a contract worker for the government, and they're between contracts. So a lot of people are putting patterns on sale, or some dyers are going to be selling yarn. I know Kirby Warby has already done that, and I believe, I'm not sure, I think Dana was going to put out a colorway, but I'm not sure. It may have been something else, because she did mention that she and Caffeinated Gert of the Caffeinated Knitting podcast are getting together, and they're making, Caffeinated Gert is making patterns out of a lot of Dana's yarns, and they put out one of the pattern sets. I think it's gloves and a hat. I could be wrong, but they put out a pattern set, and proceeds from portion of that will go to Silly Frou to help her. And Silly Frou also, I keep calling her Silly Frou, Wendy. She has a GoFundMe page, and I will put a link to that in the show notes. Hopefully I will get to show notes because I'm not always so good about that. But anyway, if you want to help, I would go look at You can look on her SPK, Sassy Pants Knitter. You can look on her Ravelry group, or you can look on Dana of Unwind's Ravelry group or Caffeinated Gert's Ravelry group, and I'm sure you can find the links to those pages. So anyway, that's kind of sad news, but I'm glad that she is keeping her spirits up, and take care. Take care, Wendy. We're all thinking about you. Now I'm forgetting where I was. Oh no, here. I have a listener who's very sweetly sent me something. I opened up my package, and because I had just ordered a bag from someone, I opened it up and I thought, well, she sent me the wrong bag. But then I opened the I undid the zipper, and there was a little note in there. And Marnie from Seattle, who is You Name It on Ravelry, she made a project bag for me. I thought that was very sweet. And it's really nicely made. She has a little hook on the side, which is good. I can clip it to things if I need to. You know, I've said I've clipped them to my purse, but she did a good job. She said this is one of her first times sewing. Here's the inside. But she did a good job, and she even put a zipper on, so that's impressive, because I know I don't sew a lot, but my mom has told me that putting zippers on is not easy. She can do it, because my mom's a prolific sewer, but she has said that's not an easy thing to do. So for a first time project bag, this was really nice. And thank you for sending that. That was very sweet. And I'll show you what I've got. I've already got a project ready to go in here. I haven't started it yet, but these are going to be my Halloween socks. And I'm using Sally's Dress from Knitter's Nightmare. And it's on her, it's 6 stripes, and let's see if I can find out. Oh, yeah, it's Spectre. So this is real. I haven't, you know, I have, actually, yes, I have knitted with Stellina before. I forgot I do have a pair of shiny socks. But this is what it looks like, and it says it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and 5% Stellina, and it's 436 yards. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love the colors. They're so beautiful. And I love that movie, and I love Sally's Dress, so I think that's going to be a great pair of socks. I haven't decided for sure the pattern. I think I'm going to try to do a pattern this time. I'm considering maybe doing, I think I've got the rainbow socks from CC Allman, who has the Geeky Girl Knits podcast. And I think I bought one of her patterns, and I believe it's called Rainbow. It's Rainbow Socks or something. Anyway, I will talk about that more next time, but I'm thinking about maybe knitting that one with these socks, because I think I would love to make, they're knee highs, and that's what makes me think I'd love to make knee highs with this, because that's a lot of yards. I think I can, because I have a small foot. So that's another thing. And let me show you the book I bought. I seem to be buying a lot of books lately, I guess because I'm trying not to buy yarn. I buy books and patterns instead. So I bought, this is called 1 in 1 Wraps, Cowls, and Capelets. And it's by Iris Schreier. I might not be saying that correctly, but this is what the book looks like. And there are so many patterns in here that I would love to make, that I'm not going to show you all of them, but I really like this one. And this one is called the Egyptian Scarf, and I'm going to have to really look at the patterns, because this is shown in the same pattern, and to me they look different, so let me move the light back. Try not to wash myself out, but ooh, ghost! But I also don't want to be in the dark. But the funny thing is that shawl, it says those 2 pictures I just showed you are in the same shawl thing, but to me the pattern looks different. I don't understand why it looks different, so maybe I'll have to look and see oh, it looks like there are two different shawls. I like the first one that I showed you. I like that version of it. There really are a lot of things in here that I would consider knitting. I like this one because I like that it can go over your head, or if you don't want to, you don't have to put it over your head. You can just wear it around your neck like a poncho. It's called a versatile neck hug. There are several patterns in here, I believe. Oh, then there are some in here that are not by Iris Schreier. They're not all by her. This one I really like too. What is this one called? Sheer Round Shoulder Capelet by Laura Kimmelstein. And this is what it looks like. I like that because it looks very simple and easy, and that could serve a lot of purposes too. You could wear it, pull it down, or you could wear it like a cowl. I like a lot of things like that that are versatile. So that's another thing that I bought recently. We did have 3 finished objects in my yarn this month. That's the most that I've had so far. So I actually had to do a little random number generator from the 3 people who who put up FOs. Lady Fernenko, who is from the Pen Hooks and Needle podcast, she made a shawl with my DK weight yarn, and she crocheted it, and she did it in the Shire colorway. And then Juliana Jukes, she knit some zombified socks, and I love how they came out. They're gorgeous, and she picked a nice pattern for them. And then Polly81, he made some socks with my zombified stripes, and he said everybody's telling him, wow, those colors are bright. So thank you guys. I'm enjoying seeing my yarn knit up by other people. It's fun to see that. And so those were the 3 people who put finished objects in, and I pulled for random number generator to gift a $7 or less pattern, and the winner was Polly81. So Polly81, if you can PM me and tell me what pattern you would like, $7 or less on giftable on Ravelry, I will give that to you. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about our next knit along, which is, I was going to start October 1st, but I didn't get to podcasting October 1st. So I just put a thread up in the group, and I'm calling it the Knit Along or Crochet Along for the Monster in You, since my Undead Yarns for the Monster in You is my little slogan. So this is going to be a knit along for the monster in you, and whatever you knit or crochet needs to be horror related. It can be a horror related colorway. It can have I'm gonna actually knit a toothless, like I said, I wanted a little toothless stuffy, and I have a toothless pattern that someone gifted me, so I am going to knit toothless, and that's going to be my contribution to the horror knits, because that's a monster. So it can be anything related up to a horror movie, or it can be a monster that you knit, or a monster name for your yarn. As long as you can relate it back to horror and monsters, it'll be, you can enter it in the thread to win prizes. And I'm going to run that for the month of October, since this is our spooky month of Halloween. And I want to show you one of the things I'm going to give away. I got this bag from Rain Lover Knits. This is the outside, skulls. So I thought it was appropriate for our knit along theme. And the inside is skulls as well. It's just black and gray, and the outside is pink and white and gray. So that's going to be one of the prizes, and then I'm going to give away 2 skeins of yarn, and I have not decided which ones yet, but I'm going to see if I can find some Halloween-y horror type stuff to give away. So if y'all do that and or crochet or knit something horror-based, horror-themed in the month of October and put it in the object thread, you can be entered to win a couple of prizes. And I also wanted to mention there are some other people who are doing some knit-alongs that I thought you might be interested in. The Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast is doing a toy knit along, and I may enter my Toothless in there if I finish it. I hope I finish it. But they're doing a toy knit along for, I'm not sure if it's 1 month or 2 months. It may be 2 months, because their knit alongs tend to run a little bit longer than 1 month, I think, usually. And In a Snip podcast is knitting, and I wanted to mention this because I really like their podcast. They're two great ladies, and I really enjoy their podcast because they try to do different things and talk about a lot of different stuff. But what I really like is their knit along. It's called the Same But Different Knit Along, and so you have to find a project that maybe the pattern's the same. Like there's one that there are 2 socks and the pattern's the same, but you switch the colors on the color work so that they look different because they're in different colors. And there's also that, I think it's a BFF cowl, where you knit 2 cowls and one's for you and one's for your best friend. So the reason I wanted to mention that is the finished object thread in that is really cool. If you go and look on their Ravelry group, you can see all kinds of really interesting knitted up items. Some people have done the Stitch Surfer socks, and I believe that one runs until October 31st. So if you wanted to knit something fun and different, that would be a good one to knit along to enter. And both those podcasts I really enjoy watching, so if you guys haven't checked them out, you should give it a try. Let me see if I haven't. Oh, I do want to mention the yarn crawl is coming up in Central Texas. I'm probably not going to be an official part of that this year because I'm going to be going out of town for part of the yarn crawl. I do like that they're doing it for a whole week rather than just a couple of days, because there's quite a few yarn shops in it now. I think there were 11 maybe. And there were a couple new ones that weren't in it last year, and I think one of them may have just opened within the past year. So if you are in Central Texas and you're interested, you should check that out. I think it's called the Hill Country Yarn Crawl if you want to Google it, and you can find it there. I might go and hang out at the Happy U during that time. We'll see. But I'm probably not, like I said, I'm not going to do an official yarn crawl this year. So anyway, I think that is it. I'm hoping I didn't forget anything, but if I did, I guess I'll just tell y'all that next time. Anyway, with that, I want to say get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.